Good morning students. Today we are going to start with the topic that is active and passive voice. And this topic you might have already studied in the lower classes. So you know the main important points which you are supposed to keep in your mind. And before we start or before I go deep into the topic, let us first understand the meaning of this topic, that is voice. What is the meaning of voice? Voice means actually it refers to the verb which tells us whether the subject is a doer of the action or the receiver of the action. When I say that I read a book, that I is the subject and read is the verb. The verb here it tells that the subject is the doer of the action, that the subject is doing the action. So here we say that the verb read, it is an active voice. And when I say that the book is read by me, that means the subject is receiver of the action. The verb is read. Is read is the verb which tells us that the subject is receiving the action. Okay. So voice, it refers to the verb which expresses that the subject is the doer of the action or the receiver of the action. Now active voice means wherein the subject is the doer of the action, and passive voice means the subject is receiving the action. Now only the transitive verbs, when we are changing a sentence from active to passive voice, only the transitive verbs. Transitive verbs mean those verbs which requires an object to complete its meaning. So only the transitive verbs can be changed from active to passive. Another thing to be kept in mind, that only 8 forms of tenses, that is out of where only 8 forms of tenses can be changed from active to passive. That is all the 3 simple present tense, then present progressive, past progressive, and the perfect tense, that is present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect tense can be changed from active to passive. And when we are changing from active to passive, the place of subject and object are interchanged. So it is very important that you know what is the subject and the object in a sentence. And if you want to find out what is the object, then there is we can say that a hint which I can give you is, after the verb you will ask the question using what or whom. For example, I read a book. I read. So after the verb read you ask the question what. I read. What? A book. So you got the object. So it is very important to find out the object when you are changing from active to passive. If your selection of your object is wrong, then you will not be able to change also, and if at all you change in your way, it won't be correct. Okay. Now today we will learn how to change the 3 different sentences, that is assertive, imperative and interrogative sentence, from active to passive. Now here we have an assertive sentence, that is I enjoyed that. I is the subject over here, enjoy is the verb, and that I enjoyed what? That. So that here is the object. So when we are changing this sentence from active to passive, then first we will use the object, that is that. After that your verb, you see the verb is in which tense? It is in the past tense. Then you will select was or were. If the verb is in the past tense, you are supposed to use was or were. Now that is a singular form. So with that we will use was. That was. Then the past participle of enjoy, that is enjoyed. After the past participle you will use preposition by. That was enjoyed by. Now the subject I, when it is written in the object place, it changes to me. That was enjoyed by me. So in this way we can change the sentence to passive. If your verb is in the present form, you will use is or are. If the verb is in the past tense, you will use was or were. If the verb is in the future, you will use will be or shall be. And if your verb is in the present progressive tense, is, are, and then you will use be, ing, being, and the past participle. And if the verb is in the past progressive tense, you will use was or were plus be, ing, being, and the past participle. If the verb is in the present perfect tense, we will use has or have and be, and be, and then past participle. If the verb is in the past perfect tense, we will use had and be, and be, and the past participle. And if the verb is in the future perfect tense, we will use will have, been, or shall have been, and the past participle. So in short, in the passive voice, you are going to use past participle, that is the third form of the verb. So you should know all the third forms of the verb. And one more thing, that the tense remains the same when you are changing the sentence from active to passive. You don't have to change the tense. Now the second sentence here, it is in the imperative form. Look at the time. Now an imperative sentence always starts with the verb. So the formation when you are changing this type of sentence from active to passive, that is imperative sentence from active to passive, it begins with let. Then the object, let the time. After the object we use be. Let the time be, then the past participle of look, that is looked. Let the time be looked. You don't have to omit any word. Let the time be looked at. Now here we do not have the subject, so no need to write here by you. Okay. Actually, whenever in the imperative sentence we are not having the subject, we use here, it is taken for granted that the subject here is you. But when we are changing to passive, there is no, it's not required that you write down here by you. Without this also it makes the sense. Then the third, that is interrogative sentence. Now interrogative sentence, when you are changing from active to passive, it remains in the interrogative form only. Now whenever the sentence it starts with the question word, that is who, then this who it changes to by whom. Now after by whom, you are supposed to use the verb, that is the helping verb. Now which helping verb to use, that you have to decide. So you see the main verb used here, that is submit. Okay. So that is in the present form. So whenever the verb is in the present form, you are supposed to use is or are. By whom, now you have to select from is or are. So you see your object. By whom, now assignment is in the plural form, so you will select are. By whom are the assignments by whom are the assignments. Now this verb, that is submit, you have to write the past participle of submit, that is submitted, and then put the question mark. So whenever the sentence begins with the question word, that is who, you change who to by whom, and then see the main verb. The verb which is used here, it is in the present form. Use is or are. If the verb is in the past form, you have to use was or were. So by whom, after writing by this by whom, you see the object. If the object is in the plural form, you use are. If it is in the singular form, you use is. By whom are the assignments submitted, and then put the question mark, because as I told you, the form also remains the same and the tense also remains the same. So I hope this topic is clear to you, and for practice you can just use your book or any other whatever PDF I am sending for a practice. You can just note down that and you can practice from that.